In the previous video, we have learned about Norrish Type-II reaction. Today, let us see more examples with previous year's questions solved. These are useful for CSIR Net, GATE, MSc, etc. Now let's see the conditions for Norrish Type-II reactions. The substrate should be a carbonyl compound. It should have at least one gamma hydrogen atom. It should have a beta bond. Intramolecular gamma hydrogen atom abstraction occurs and forms 1,4 biradical. Homolytic cleavage of beta bond occurs to form an alkene and an enol. This may sometimes undergo cyclization. The steps in Norrish type reaction. Primary process. Formation of 1,4 biradical. Upon irradiation by UV light in the range 230 to 330 nanometers, the carbonyl compound undergoes N to pi star transition and enters singlet excited state, that is S1. From S1 through intersystem crossing, it enters the triplet excited state T1. In the T1 state, the pi bond of the carbonyl group cleaves. As a result, two radicals are formed. One radical on oxygen atom and another radical on carbon atom of the carbonyl group. Now the bond between gamma carbon and gamma hydrogen starts breaking and a new bond starts forming between oxygen and gamma hydrogen, thus forming a 6-membered cyclic transition state. When gamma hydrogen is attached to oxygen atom, 1,4 biradical is formed. This is the primary process. In the secondary process, formation of products takes place. The beta bond of 1,4 biradical cleaves to form an alkene and an enol. Sometimes cyclization may take place to give a cyclobutanol. Let's see a general example. This is a carbonyl system. R C double bond O, CH2, CH2, CH, R dash and H, gamma H. Okay, this is the alpha carbon, this is the beta carbon, this is the gamma carbon. So this is the gamma hydrogen. Upon irradiation by UV light, it undergoes N to pi star transition and enters singlet excited state. This is the singlet excited state. From singlet excited state through intersystem crossing, it enters triplet excited state. This is the triplet excited state. In the triplet excited state, the pi bond between carbon and oxygen cleaves to give us a radical on oxygen and a radical on carbon. Now, the bond between gamma hydrogen and gamma carbon starts breaking and a new bond between gamma hydrogen and oxygen starts forming. So this forms a 6-membered cyclic transition state. See, let us count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Including hydrogen and oxygen, we have 6-membered ring. This is the cyclic transition state. Now when the bond between gamma hydrogen and gamma carbon is completely cleaved, the hydrogen atom is abstracted by the O radical, forming OH. So this is the 1,4 by radical. See, R carbon radical OH, CH2, CH2, CH radical R prime. This is 1,4 by radical. Now this 1,4 by radical can undergo beta cleavage or cyclization. Let us see that. In cyclization, this 1 and 4 radical, this radical and this radical will join together to form a new bond, forming a cyclobutanol. This is a substituted cyclobutanol. See, on carbon 1 there is OH group and alkyl group R group. So on first carbon we have R and OH. On the fourth carbon we have R prime. So this is the fourth carbon. This is R prime. This is substituted cyclobutanol. Now let's see what happens in beta cleavage. The beta bond, that is the bond between alpha carbon and beta carbon, may cleave homolytically to form two radicals. One radical on alpha carbon, one radical on beta carbon. As a result of which we will get OH R C single bond, one radical here and one radical on the carbon. This joined together to form OH R single bond, C double bond CH2. This is enol. This can tautomerize to give us ketone, R single bond, C double bond CH3. This is nothing but ketone. Now the other product is R prime single bond, one radical and another radical on the beta carbon here. These two radicals will join to form a bond, giving us an alkene. This is the general mechanism of Norrish type reaction. Let us see some more examples without this 6-membered cyclic transition state. Let us go directly to 1,4 biradical. So this is a carbonyl compound, CH3, C double bond O, CH2, C, CH3, CH3, CH3. As you can see here, this carbon is alpha, this is beta, and this is gamma carbon, and this is gamma carbon, and this is gamma carbon. So this oxygen can extract a gamma hydrogen atom from any one of these three alkyl groups. Let us see how it happens. CH3, C double bond O, CH2, C, CH3, CH3, CH2, H, that is CH3. Upon irradiation, undergoes gamma hydrogen abstraction from this carbon, gamma carbon, to form OH here. As a result of which, one radical is formed on the gamma carbon, another radical is formed on the carbonyl carbon. So as a result, we get 1,4 biradical. Now cyclization of this 1,4 biradical occurs. This radical on first carbon and radical on the fourth carbon will join together to form a bond. We get a cyclic product like this. On the first carbon we have OH and CH3. So we will write OH and CH3 here. Okay. Now there are two CH3 groups on the fourth carbon. So we will write 2 CH3 groups on the fourth carbon. So this is nothing but substituted cyclobutanol. Now let's see beta cleavage. Beta bond, the bond between alpha carbon and beta bond cleaves, forming two radicals, one on alpha carbon and one on beta carbon. As a result, we get a radical like this. On beta carbon there is one radical formed. Already there was a radical present on the gamma carbon. These two radicals will join together to form an alkene. Now this part, this OH CH3 C radical and alpha carbon with one radical will form a bond here, giving us CH3 OH C double bond CH2. It is an enol. This enol tautomerizes to give us ketone CH3 C double bond CH3. This is a ketone. So this is beta cleavage reaction. Now let us see another example. Let's take a system like this. This is CH3 C double bond O CH2. This is alpha carbon having CH2. Beta carbon, gamma carbon. Gamma carbon is having two CH3 groups and one gamma hydrogen. Upon irradiation, this oxygen will abstract H and form 1,4 by radical. Then cyclization of this will form this radical and this radical will join together to form a bond, as a result of which we get OH CH3 C double bond CH2, and here on the fourth carbon two CH3 groups. See here, there is OH on first carbon. There is a CH3 group here on the first carbon. So on the first carbon we write OH and CH3. On the second carbon there is double bond CH2. So this is double bond CH2. On the fourth carbon there are two methyl groups. So we write two methyl groups. Now let's see beta cleavage. The bond between alpha carbon and beta carbon is the beta bond. It cleaves to form two radicals, one on the alpha carbon, one on the beta carbon. The radical on the beta carbon and the gamma carbon will join together to form an alkene. Now this OH CH3 and C as will form a double bond here, and there is already CH2 here. So it has a pi bond here. This has pi bond here. So 2 plus 2 cyclo addition takes place, forming a cyclic product like this. So this is a cyclic product. Okay. Next, let us see another example. This is phenyl group C double bond O alpha carbon CH2, beta having NH group and a gamma carbon having only hydrogen. So now upon irradiation, O abstract gamma hydrogen to form a radical OH here. So as a result we get 1,4 by radical. This 1,4 by radical cyclization will take place. This radical on the fourth carbon and the radical on the first carbon will join together to form a cyclic product. So on the first carbon we have OH and pH. So we write OH and pH on the first carbon. In third place we have NH instead of carbon. So we will write NH. So this is the cyclic product. Now let's see if it beta cleavage occurs in this compound. Here, if beta cleavage occurs, this beta bond between this alpha carbon and nitrogen will cleave to form radicals. One radical on nitrogen, one radical on the alpha carbon. Already there was a radical on the carbonyl carbon. These two will join together to form a compound like this. Then these two radicals will join to form a structure like this, CH2NH. This is not stable, so no beta cleavage occurs in this compound. Okay, now let us see another example. Let us take a system like this: O, CH2, 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 C double bond O, R. Upon irradiation by UV light, this is the alpha carbon, this is the beta carbon, this is the gamma carbon. Gamma carbon has two hydrogens, this is one hydrogen. So, first the pi bond between carbonyl group, that is C and oxygen, will break to form two radicals. This is followed by abstraction of gamma hydrogen atom from the gamma carbon atom, as a result of which we get a biradical like this: oxygen, CH, CH2, CH2, CO radical and R. Now this biradical can undergo cyclization. This radical on the fourth carbon and the first carbon will join together to form a cyclic product like this. This will not change. This will remain as such. But you will get a four-membered ring here, that is cyclobutanol. So this is the cyclic product. On the first carbon we have R alkyl group and OH group. So we will write OH group here. On the fourth carbon and third carbon we have this ring attached. So we write like this. Now let us see beta cleavage. This is the beta bond. This is the alpha carbon. This is beta carbon. The bond between alpha carbon and beta carbon cleaves, forming two radicals. One on the alpha carbon. Already there is one radical on the OH. And here there was a radical on the gamma carbon. And now a radical is formed on the beta carbon. These two radicals will join together to form a bond here. So it will get this ring will get a double bond. So this is not stable because ring strain will be more on this compound. So beta cleavage does not occur to give this compound and only cyclic product forms here. Now let us see another example. This is a cyclic carbonyl compound, hexanone, with a side chain. This is the cyclic hexanone. This is alpha carbon, this is beta carbon, this is gamma carbon. We can write it like this: alpha, beta, gamma. Gamma carbon has a hydrogen atom. So this hydrogen atom is abstracted by this oxygen to form 1,4 biradical. Now this 1,4 biradical can undergo cyclization. 1 and 4 radicals. Radicals present on first carbon and the fourth carbon will join together to form a ring like this, four-membered ring. This is a substituted cyclobutanol. Okay. Now let us see beta cleavage in this compound. homolytic cleavage of beta bond of 1,4 pi radical takes place. Let us see that. Here, this is the alpha carbon, this is the beta carbon. The bond between alpha and beta is the beta bond. This bond cleaves homolytically to give us two radicals, one on the alpha carbon, one on the beta carbon. So we get a radical on beta carbon. There was a radical present on the gamma carbon. These two radicals will join together to form an alkene. Now this radical on the beta carbon and the radical present on the carbonyl group, that is actually OH. These two radicals will combine to form another bond. So this is nothing but enone. This can tautomerize to form a ketone. This is the structure of the ketone. Hope you liked the video. Please subscribe, share and like. Thank you.